Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint by Sing Shong. Chapter 9. Protagonist. Part 4. At this moment, Yusanga shouted. Doc Jessi. Behind you. I reflexively leaned forward as a bloody fist came flying through the air. It was a familiar fist, covered with energy. I felt something falling towards me and instinctively kicked out. I didn't need to look back to know what was behind me. A grade 9 human type, demonic person. Human mutants infected with black ether. That's why demonic people were classified as a high-risk species, despite being grade 9. Demonic people made from a normal human base were no different from zombies, but it was particularly dangerous if their hosts were different. I saw the badge of the school student with a damaged head. Kim Namwon. The guy whose head burst a few minutes ago was now aiming for me as a demonic person. Kim Namwon's vocal cords that burst out were in a bizarre shape. Kuiyu. Exclusive skill, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint LV1 has been activated. This person doesn't have any consciousness. The skill Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint will be cancelled. Damn, it was as expected. Chwack. My thigh was scratched by Kim Namwon's overgrown black fingernails. A pain that felt like a burn spread through my leg. The skin, which hadn't been cut by a knife, was now torn by fingernails. This was the main reason why demonic people were dangerous. The demonic people became several times stronger than when they were human. Yusanga SSI, immediately. I felt something as I spoke. Without looking back, I could see what was going on. Let me go. Let go. Doc Jessi. Doc Jessi. Han Myungo, who had just been limping, was carrying Yusanga over one shoulder and moving across the bridge at an astonishing rate. The constellation Secretive Plotter admires how easy you are to fool. The constellation Demon-like Judge of Fire is impressed with your sacrifice. 100 coins have been sponsored. Indeed. Planning to leave me? By the way he was running was a little strange. Despite being on one leg, he was running as fast as an Olympic athlete. This couldn't be the exclusive skill of Han Myungo, who had a big belly. Therefore, it must be the stigma of his sponsor. The one-legged swift horse. And I already knew the constellation who provided that stigma. I used character list on the distant Han Myungo. The information of this person can't be read in character list. Once again, character list didn't work properly. If I remembered correctly, the stigma of one-legged swift horse came from the constellation Lame Trickster. Lame Trickster didn't give any stigmas in the mental barrier system. In addition, Han Myungo couldn't possess such a skill from the beginning. In other words, my skill failed not because of Han Myungo's ability. I was stupid. I looked at the message window floating in front of me and laughed. This person isn't registered in character list. I was thinking too hard when it meant literally that. Character list literally read the information of characters. Yusanga and Han Myungo were characters who didn't originally appear in Ways of Destruction. They were people who would have died if I hadn't saved them. It was natural that I couldn't confirm their information with character list. Gruck. 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 On one side, the incoming Kim Namwon and demonic people were jabbering nonsense at me. On the other side, Han Myungo had already halfway crossed the bridge. Lee Hyunsung and Lee Gilyoung had already entered the safety zone across the bridge, so I couldn't ask for help from them. This was truly a predicament. I couldn't cross the bridge alone. My brain moved quickly. Should I capture one of the demonic people and cross the bridge? It was worth trying, but the success rate was too low. Unlike the name, the demonic people were categorized as non-human, meaning they didn't count as a person. Quack. Several demonic people lost their balance and fell down the bridge. Quajajijik. The fallen demonic people became the food of the ichthyosaurs. Like piranhas, the ichthyosaurs broke the demonic people into dozens of pieces in an instant. Distant fear came flooding back in. If the number of people on the bridge became odd for even a moment, I would be like them. It was impossible to cross alone. Then? Let's take it slow, I muttered as I attempted to control myself. Right now, I needed to remain calm. There were still a few usable methods, but the important thing was to handle matters in front of me. I controlled my breathing and walked to the demonic people. Kawiak? Fortunately, it wasn't difficult to make the fall down the bridge using inertia. Kayak, Kwajijik. I reduced the numbers by making them fall steadily. The Dakibi's stopwatch floating in the air was blinking. The time remaining before the scenario ended was 15 minutes. Sigh. Nails flew from a blind spot and pierced my shoulder bone. No matter how calm my mind, no matter how much information I knew, I couldn't help my untrained body. Kuwook. The wild Kim Namwon's attacks were becoming increasingly faster. Left shoulder. The right thigh. The top of the head. I had to break the flow. I barely avoided the flying fingernails and kicked his legs. Kaya. But this person lost all senses and wasn't hurt at all. I stepped back, hitting a broken steel frame. I could hear the raging sound of the ichthyosaurs at the bottom of the pillars. A few constellations are rejoicing in your adversity. The constellations have sponsored you 200 coins. It was a steady accumulation of coins. Now I held 5,000 coins. It was a significant number of coins for the beginning. Wow, you are quite good at surviving. Now. Will any constellations help this poor friend? It was the Dakibi's merchant-like voice. I wanted to tear it apart. Geez, there is really nobody? Of course. It would be strange for a constellation to support me after what happened during the sponsor selection. What did I say? You should have chosen well when you had the change. How pitiful. Kim Namwon attacked me again and again, resulting in damage to my waist. Of course, I also injured Kim Namwon's left side with the knife. Thanks to that, his stomach was hanging out like a skipping rope. In order to kill a demonic person, I had to completely destroy the heart. But the skin of a demonic person was hardest near the heart. The Swiss knife wasn't able to pierce it with sharpness alone. Damn it, it wouldn't be so hard if I had just one combat skill. The exclusive skill bookmark is activated. Bookmark? Character bookmarks is activated. Available bookmark slots, 3. Bringing up the list of available bookmarks. People listed in the bookmark slots. 1. The Delusion Demon Kim Namwon, Understanding 25. 2. Steel Sword Lee Hyunsung, Understanding 35. 3. Empty slot. Bookmark. I've read over 3,000 chapters of Ways of Survival and I never saw this skill name before. But I intuitively knew how to use it. Activate bookmark number 1. There was the feelings of pages turning in my head. It was the scenes of Kim Namwon in Ways of Destruction. Ha 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 ha. I'm full of strength. Die. 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 A new world requires new laws. Kim Namwon's memories crowded in and all of my muscle nerves started to tense up. The power of another person was spiking within me. The number 1 bookmark has been activated. The level of the bookmark skill is low, shortening the activation time. Activation time, 1 minute. 1 minute. That was enough. Your understanding of the character is low, so only a part of the character's skill is activated. Blackening LV.1 has been activated. Kim Namwon was breathing roughly as he rushed towards me. His body was covered with a black energy that was threatening me. I firmly placed strength on the heels of my feet and rushed towards Kim Namwon. If we had the same skill, I absolutely wouldn't lose. At this moment, I really was Kim Namwon. I was the crazy killer who ruled the world of ways of survival with the protagonist. In a situation where blackening was properly played, the delusion demon of the battlefield couldn't be easily beaten. Kayak. The Swiss knife cut through uncomfortable sensations. It tore through muscles and flesh. From the upper left arm to the heart. There was the sound of a whole human being cut up as Kim Namwon staggered. If he still had eyes, he would be glaring at me right now. Kuo, kill. Oh. Die. The young man who felt pessimistic towards the world and dreamt of breaking away from it. If ways of survival hadn't started, he might have gone to university after sitting his CSAT and enjoyed campus life. Don't want to die. I watched Kim Namwon falling down the bridge without saying farewell. Despite him being a hated figure, I couldn't help feeling strange emotions. Your understanding of the character, Kim Namwon, has increased. The number 1 bookmark has been disabled. A surge of fatigue overcame me as the power went away. It was hard. Really. Kuwook. There was 10 minutes remaining. There were still many demonic people moving about. It was unreasonable to take on so many even with LV10 stamina. But from the beginning, I had no intention of taking care of them alone. It was a little late. He should appear around now. Kwajik. Kwajajijik. There was a crackling sound like he had been waiting. I knew it. I thought he would do reckless things in order to gain achievements and donations. Kwajijik. Crunch. It was obviously the sound of a person's flesh colliding with another body, but it sounded more like a mace crushing flesh. In fact, I had collected this much coins and thought it would be worth challenging the protagonist. But now I realized how mistaken I was. From the stationary train, the demonic people were thrown away in a straight line, as if a tank had rushed through. Was this really a scene caused by a human? Kayak? The headless demonic people realized that something was strange and started turning around. However, it was too late. Kwajijik. The man destroyed all the demonic people threatening me and appeared in front of me. An overwhelming force without any weapons. He beat the demonic people with only 2 fists. I had prepared my mind in advance, but sweat still flowed down my back. Dealing with this guy? It was absolutely impossible. I couldn't win even if my overall stats rose by more than double what they were now. You, who are you? The man's cool gaze turned to me. I reflexively turned on character list in order to overcome the fear. The exclusive skill, character list, is activated. There is too much information about this person. Character list is converted to summary list. Character summary, name, Yu Jonghyuk. Attribute, regressor, third turn, myth, pro gamer, rare. Exclusive skills, Sage's Eyes LV8, hand-to-hand combat LV8, weapons training LV8, mental barrier LV5, crowd control LV5, reasoning LV5, lie detection LV4. The list of exclusive skills continued endlessly. Before I could get to the end of the list, a rugged hand appeared and grabbed my neck. You, how the hell are you alive? The first way to survive in a ruined world. The one who proved that method was right in front of me. Regressor Yu Jonghyuk. The grand tragedy of this world began with this person. Chapter 10. Protagonist. Part 5. It would be quite a ludicrous sight if anyone else saw it. A large adult man was being grabbed by the neck and hanging like a monkey. I could see Lee Hyunsung looking this way from across the bridge. His expression was anxious, but he couldn't actually see what was going on here. It was due to the safety ward. I could see over there, but they couldn't see here. Name. What? What is your name? Look at this indifferent way of talking, just like a main character. But it wasn't good to provoke him here. Kim Dokja. A strange name. I've heard that a lot. At this moment, my stomach sank in and felt turned inside out as Yoo Jong-hyuk's fist hit it. Ugh. Despite having skin that a knife bounced off, the attack was very painful. You have a solid body. Have you already mastered the use of coins? It is the same with you. Bam. There was a hit to my stomach again. I barely managed to swallow back a groan. This guy, the level of his strength, was at least 15. It was at this scale, despite only one main and one sub-scenario occurring. Indeed, natural-born monsters were different. Stop the unnecessary answer. Only answer what I ask from now on. Understood? I didn't answer. I thought maybe this might happen. However, this was the worst situation that I desperately hoped would never happen. In the beginning, Yoo Jong-hyuk was more intimidating than any other figure. His personality had worn out after going through regression 3 times. His principles were cut away in order to maintain his sense of self. The current Yoo Jong-hyuk would never hesitate for the sake of his purpose. Your answer? I will. Use honorifics. What if I don't want to? This time, I raised both hands to block the fist. The pain felt like my bones had broken, but the shock was dissipated. Yoo Jong-hyuk's eyes widened like he was a bit surprised. The character, Yoo Jong-hyuk, is on guard against you. Then it didn't matter. I wasn't going to be a punching bag just because he was the main character. I'm sorry, but you are younger than me, pro gamer Yoo Jong-hyuk SSI. Therefore, you should be the one using honorifics. You know me? I know. I am the employee of a game company. It was a lie. Even if I worked for a game company, it was impossible to memorize the names of all professional gamers. In addition, until recently, Yoo Jong-hyuk was just a character in a novel. You are famous. At one time, I was a fan. Being famous was just a setting of the plot. However, it wasn't a lie that I was a fan. I liked, hated, grumbled, and cheered Yoo Jong-hyuk on. That's why I stuck with Yoo Jong-hyuk for over 3,000 chapters. Fan. I haven't heard that in a long time. Yoo Jong-hyuk had a look of nostalgia in his eyes, like he was locked in his memories. However, it was only for a moment. I'll forgive your impudence this time. But your situation hasn't changed. I can see that. I looked down at my 2 legs swaying over a blank space. I have only one thing I want to ask. Ask. How did you survive on the subway? It was the question I expected. Will you spare me if I answer? I'll see. It was a lie. I could tell, just by looking at his face. I was the only reader of ways of survival. Numerous possible repertoires were simulated in my head. What could I say to convince this damn regressor? Your understanding of the character, Yoo Jong-hyuk, is increasing. Your understanding of this person is already very high. Huh? The conditions of use for the exclusive skill Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint Stage 2 has been reached. Do you want to activate the exclusive skill? Then after a moment, I was able to read someone's thoughts like a waterfall in my head. Only Lee Hyun-sung and Kim Namwon should have survived in that carriage. Yet Kim Namwon died and the others survived. How did you survive? Who the hell is this guy? Dig up information. Then if I find any disturbing elements, kill. A dense flicker of thoughts. It was obviously a crisis situation, but I couldn't prevent the corners of my mouth from going up. The time remaining until the scenario ended was 5 minutes. I started the story. I told the story using as much concise, short, and accurate vocabulary as possible. It was from the first moment the Dakibi appeared in the subway to the end of the first scenario. Of course, I excluded the skills I got and any important issues. You cleared the scenario by killing insects? We were lucky. Yu Jong-hyuk was so surprised, he seemed to have forgotten that his mouth was open. The future has completely changed. He was shocked. Originally, the people in carriage 3807 would kill each other in a battle royale, with only Lee Hyun-sung and Kim Namwon surviving. You have keen eyes. How did you know there were insects in the carriage? Killing intent filled Yu Jong-hyuk's eyes as thoughts brushed through my head. Is this guy also a regressor? If so, I have to kill him right now. A person who commits a fault thinks that everyone speaks of it. I wasn't surprised that he misunderstood me. I quickly opened my mouth. An explosion. Explosion? I was able to find an insect due to an explosion from the carriage in front. Yu Jong-hyuk's body stopped at these words. Explain it in a simpler manner. When the explosion occurred, a kid fell and dropped his insect collecting net. I picked it up by chance. It is a suspicious coincidence. Coincidences are always suspicious. If you don't believe me, ask the people beyond the ward. The boy standing there dropped the net. Beyond the safety barrier on the way to Oksu Station, people were looking over at this side. The scenario wasn't over yet, so they couldn't approach or talk to us. Yu Jong-hyuk looked over but showed no signs of moving. His eyes changed and memories that seemed to belong to Yu Jong-hyuk crossed my mind. I see. Explosion. This guy isn't a regressor. He isn't the one who changed the future. Rather, the future changed. Because of me. I saw people dying painfully in a powerful explosion and Yu Jong-hyuk blankly watching it. It is because I started killing them, unlike the other turns. Due to the impact of Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, I could feel Yu Jong-hyuk's mental pain and suffering. Are your questions over? Yes. Then can you let me go? And let's go to Oksu together. There isn't much time remaining to clear the scenario. It is difficult. However, a protagonist was a protagonist for a reason. Everything you said makes perfect sense. I have never seen a protagonist as careful as Yu Jong-hyuk. A beginner can't be so calm. He is abnormally well adjusted to this changed world. He probably killed Kim Namwon. He has gone beyond being useful to being dangerous. Yu Jong-hyuk's right eye started shining with a gold color. I quickly realized what he was doing. In fact, it would be weird if this guy didn't use that. Sage's eyes. Yu Jong-hyuk's strongest detection skill. Sage's eyes was the SS grade skill that showed the target's attributes window, as well as hidden information. As long as he used it, I couldn't avoid revealing my identity. On the other hand, I thought it was a good thing. I still didn't know my attribute and skills. If Yu Jong-hyuk discovered my information, I would also be able to know about myself. Then hopefully, I would be able to use the information I learned to escape this situation. The exclusive skill, Fourth Wall, is activated. Fourth Wall has detected the use of the detection skill Sage's eyes. Sparks flew in the air and Yu Jong-hyuk's body staggered. Kook, what? Yu Jong-hyuk covered his right eye and watched me with confusion. You, what is your identity? I'm sorry, but I was wondering the same thing. The exclusive skill Fourth Wall has blocked Sage's eyes. I didn't know that I had a skill that would defend against Sage's eyes. After bookmark, it was Fourth Wall. This complicated things. Yu Jong-hyuk wouldn't believe me now. I must kill him here. He was a person who didn't trust what he didn't know. Yu Jong-hyuk. Then I also need to change plans. You need a reliable companion. What do you mean? You can't break through the 46th scenario alone. Shouldn't you be well aware of it? Yu Jong-hyuk's eyes narrowed. How do you know this? Perhaps it doesn't matter how I am. I stared straight into Yu Jong-hyuk's eyes and said, The important thing is that I can help you. He isn't a regressor. If he was a regressor, I wouldn't be unaware of him. Then who is this person? Perhaps? If I couldn't hide my hand and if I didn't possess the best hand, then there was only one way out. It was to show a hand that would make the other person misunderstand. Yu Jong-hyuk, I know the future that you don't know. The character Yu Jong-hyuk has used the lie detection skill. Lie detection has confirmed that your words are the truth. Yu Jong-hyuk's eyes slowly widened. How? How else? No way. There was a prophet other than Anna Croft? It is also in South Korea? Prophet. In Ways of Survival, it was the only attribute that could see the future and had the passive of nullifying all detection skills. In fact, only one person had the attribute of prophet in the world of Ways of Survival. Only a prophet can defend against my sage's eyes. I didn't answer, and Yu Jong-hyuk bit his lips. Can you perhaps use future sight? It is something similar. You knew I would come here. Yes. I see. If this man is a prophet, all his actions are convincing. The flow was changing. Yu Jong-hyuk's fluctuation was conveyed straight away. This was the only chance. I know that Yu Jong-hyuk has special powers. You also know things about the future. Isn't that right? But that knowledge is never perfect. The only weakness of a regressor. It meant that the future changed when they used their information of the future. In other words, all those who regressed would eventually live in a world they don't know. Make me your companion. I can fill in the parts you are missing. There was no companion as good as a prophet to the present Yu Jong-hyuk. In fact, my present self could play a role similar to a prophet. It was because I was the only reader of this story. There is 1 minute to the end of the scenario. Yu Jong-hyuk bowed his head and started to think. A prophet will certainly be helpful. There are 50 seconds left to complete the scenario. Not just the 46th scenario, but later when fighting the Kalatastra. But, can I really believe him? There are 40 seconds left to the end of the scenario. Companion. Finally, Yu Jong-hyuk raised his head as I stared at the clock with an irritated heart. I have decided. I will make you my companion. Excessive immersion has severely worn out your mental strength. Exclusive skill, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint has been turned off. I wasn't sure if it was due to fatigue or relief, but the exclusive skill was released. Now Yu Jong-hyuk's face was as difficult as a philosophy book with no commentary written. Yu Jong-hyuk started to take me across the even bridge. Of course, I was still held by the collar, but I thought things would be all right now. I persuaded this damn regressor and was in a good position. We had almost crossed the even bridge and were right in front of the safe area when Yu Jong-hyuk suddenly stopped. I will ask you one last thing. What? If you are really a prophet, you should know your future. Isn't that right? The moment I saw Yu Jong-hyuk's serene eyes, goosebumps broke out. His test wasn't over yet. The grip holding my collar tightened. Hyuk. His hand raised me up a little bit and a gentle wind passed by my feet. Underneath me was completely empty. The smell of blood mixed in with the smell of Han River as the ichthyosaurs jumped towards their prey with open mouths. Will I let go of this hand or won't I? For the first time, I started sweating. Let me think. Even without his thoughts, I knew this guy more than anyone else. I closed my eyes and thought about Yu Jong-hyuk. There are 20 seconds left to the end of the scenario. Then I came to a conclusion. Yu Jong-hyuk. I was certain about what he would do. No matter how I thought about it, there was no other ending when it came to Yu Jong-hyuk. I talked as I watched a sea commander approaching in the water. I will tell you 2 things first. What? 1. I'm not your subordinate. So I hope you will treat me fairly from now on. 2. I will cooperate with you, but you also have to promise to cooperate with me. Yu Jong-hyuk looked at me with interest and nodded. Well, what is your answer? I replied with a smile. Get your hand off me and get lost, you damn jerk. Then the power holding me disappeared. I was grabbed by the force of gravity. I saw Yu Jong-hyuk's face as I was falling. Yu Jong-hyuk was smiling brightly, like something made him happy. Son of a bitch. I believe you. You are definitely a prophet. Waiting for me at my crash point was the mouth of the giant sea commander. I closed my eyes from the shock of the impact along with the cold water of Han River. As I sucked in a breath, a warm and enormous darkness swallowed me up. You have failed to clear the scenario. Damn, I have to use that method after all.